Greetings. Welcome to Confessions with Nikki G. I'm your host, Nikki G. I start my day out every day with listening to some kind of music that gets me motivated in the mood to move around and, just accomplish all of my goals for the day. And I love that song because it said, "You can't shake me. You can't make me mad. Whatever you're doing, you can't shake me or make me mad. Today is my day and it's going to be a good day." So I hope you keep that positive thought in mind. Today I will be talking about something very near and dear to me, which is I want to talk about narcissistic personality disorder. That subject became so important to me when I found myself in a relationship with a narcissistic person. I've heard of it before, but I didn't really understand it until I had to really go through it. It's like the elder people say, you about lesson is the best one. And I got about lesson multiple times with this type of individual or individuals. Now, this disorder can be in a husband and wife, or it could be, your coworker. It could be, family members. It could be anywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a loving type relationship. What is this? What does that mean? For some of you, you probably never even heard of it before. The definition that I found stated that this is a personality disorder characterized by an exaggerated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for other people. Now, I'm not saying just because an individual may not have empathy for other people that they are narcissistic. No, that type of behavior is very deep beyond what a reasonable person would think. It goes well beyond that. These individuals, they have mastered the art of manipulation, and they will use anything necessary to do it. And part of that is all of them are pathological liars. That is, they will lie about anything, and they also believe the lies that they tell. And they're so good with their manipulation that at some point you start to believe it too, because they're so good at what they do. But most of the time, this kind of disorder is found in men, and I couldn't find out why, but most of the doctors that I read about said that environmental factors was a part of it. But since since I've been entangled with one, I think it goes back to toxic masculinity, where the male has to conform to, fit society's idea of what is defined as a man or male. You have to act a certain way. You have to basically move in a certain manner to be considered a real man, which is, I think, a crock of baloney, but that's just my opinion. Now, I must say that I'm not a professional. I don't have a doctorate degree. I'm an individual that I speak on life experiences, what I experience. And when I research and find information for this podcast, I normally find things that I can relate to, that I feel like someone else can relate to. If bottom line is, if I didn't experience it, I wouldn't believe it reading it on the paper. So I'm hoping that by the end of this podcast that you will understand about this disorder. Also, you will know how to deal with these individuals. And also, I'm hoping that at some point you get an exit plan. Now, let's go into details about the narcissist. I'm going to read something that I found online, and it is titled, Do You Know a Narcissist? And it has 6 items. Number 1 says, everything will revolve around this person. It will be all about their needs, their wants, their life. Everything will revolve around them. Number 2, nothing will ever be their fault, even when evidence shows that it's their fault. It is never their fault. Number 3, they neglect you, take you for granted, and never make you feel important or valuable. Number 4, they are very selfish. They're very selfish people. Most narcissistic people want everything to be about them. If it's not about them, they're going to either try to destroy it or they're going to try to do something to deter you from it. Number 5, they lack empathy and compassion, and the only feelings they care about are truly their own. But you have to remember they're pathological liars as well. So in order to get next to you, they are masters at lying. So if you're not educated in these types of things, you'll fall for their foolery, as I like to call it. I don't even know if that's a word, but hey, that's what it is, foolery. Everyone around them are objects to be used for their own gratification or needs. Now I'm going to read that again. Everyone, family, brother, sister, wife, kids, everyone around them are objects. They don't see you as human. Objects to be used for their own gratification or their needs. Now, take a few seconds and think about the 5 things that I just read to you. And if you can say yes, that you know someone like this, or maybe you know someone that can fit all 5 of these things, then yes, you are dealing with a narcissistic person. And I will say, in my previous relationship, this is what I had to deal with. But at the time, you meet that person, like I said, they're pathological liars, So, of course, this person was lying to me and making me feel like I was just the most, important person in the world. He was doing everything he could to get next to me. But it was in a way that you truly felt like they were being, honest and being, truthful about their feelings and how they feel. But as time go on, you will see a total change. And I would say this. If you know you're around someone like that, whether it's your wife, husband, boss, family member, I'm hoping that you listen to the rest of this podcast, because I'm going to give you some valuable information that you can take and hopefully use to help you move along in the process of getting away from these individuals, or you may make the choice that you want to stay with these individuals. So at least if you make the choice that you want to stay, you will know what you're having to deal with. And I would say for me, because my show is Confessions, today I don't have a guest. So I would say for me, I made a choice to stay because I was not educated in this type of thing. So in my mind, I'm thinking everybody has their shit. Everybody goes through something, so I'm thinking this person probably was heartbroken by their ex and, maybe they just going through something, in the beginning. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to stand with him, as he goes through the healing process. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking. But no, his mind was somewhere else. It wasn't even about that. The next thing I want to inform you of are the steps that these individuals take when they're in a relationship with you. Now, I found 8 steps. And I picked these simply because I went through all 8 of them with this individual, not having any clue what was going on. Now, the first one is called love bombing, followed by devaluation. So let me give you an example from my life. I was with this individual, but at the time, I was adamant about losing weight, working out. I had just started a new business. And so I brought him into my world, of course, because we were, in a relationship, committed. We was going forward. Well, as time went on, he began to, at first it was, oh, that's wonderful. You work out, you looking good, and, oh, I'm so glad you starting your business. We can, work with these individuals at the gym, because the gym that I went to, these individuals was about business. They didn't mind helping you if you were trying to start a business. As long as it was something positive, they would help you along the way. So, of course, these individuals were helping me. So at the time, he was acting like that was just a positive thing. Well, I'll say within 2 months, maybe 3 months, he did a switch. It went from, oh, you're going to the gym early morning, you're leaving here, what about me? What about our time? What are you doing? Are you out there meeting, do you have a boyfriend at the gym? I mean, it went all the way left to the point of he made it where I had to choose between him and the gym or the gym. I couldn't do both. And to be honest with you, it got to the point where it was just really getting on my nerves. Like I was really thinking to myself, well, maybe he really does think that. So, I'll just go to another gym, not thinking that he's manipulating me. So basically what he did was he love bombed me. He made me feel important, make me feel good about myself. I'm losing weight, da-da-da-da-da. But then you snatch that. They'll try to make you sacrifice things that you ordinarily wouldn't just for them. But to them, they don't look at it as a big sacrifice. He didn't look at me leaving that gym, leaving my gym family as a sacrifice. He looked at it as, oh, yeah, I can manipulate her now. If she'll do this, then I can get her to do something else. And let me tell you, no matter how much you do, it's never enough for them. They're going to find something else and something else and something else. And that was him all the way. So when you get love bombed, they're going to make you feel like you the only woman for them. Or vice versa, or whatever. You're the only person for them. They just put you up on this big old pedestal only to pull you down and make you fall on your face. The next one is called gaslighting. It's defined as making you disbelieve reality or feel like you're losing your mind. And I will say, he had driven me to the point where I was thinking about checking myself in the psych hospital. I had got to the point where I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was losing my mind. And I would give you an example. I'm just giving you small examples because it was several, because this went on for about 5 or 6 years. So I'm going to give you a small example. Something as simple as me working overtime at work. I would come home, he would say, oh, why are you spending so much time at work? What are you doing? You're not working those hours. You're not doing this, and it just spirals out of control from there. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, let me show you my clocking in and out, my timesheet or whatever you want to call it, because we could pull it up on the phone. So I would pull it up on the phone. I would show this man this. Look, you see, no, you can manipulate that. It never stops with them. Basically, he was just making me doubt myself. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. At some point, after a while, I got to thinking, well, hell, did I really go to work or what the hell? I don't understand what's going on. Or something, another basic thing was something as small as the seat being moved in the car. This man argued me up and down about me having somebody in the car because the seat was moved. At some point, I said, well, damn, did I pick somebody up? I'm tripping. I'm losing my grip with reality. And he knows that. He knows what he's doing. He's manipulating me to make me doubt myself. Which sounds crazy, but if you don't know it, if you don't know about it when it's happening, you will start to second guess yourself. And I found an article that was written by North Point Recovery about this gaslighting process. And I want to read it to you. It says, gaslighting tactics will escalate if you attempt to call them out on the lies they are telling you. They will start to come up with evidence to prove they are right about whatever it is that they're trying to say that you did or didn't do. They will refute the evidence. The gaslighter will deny, blame, doubt, and add more false claims. You will become so confused that you don't know what's right from wrong anymore. And that was me. This individual accused me of infidelity all the time with one individual. I don't even know what he's talking about. You know, I mean, he even involved the neighbors. Everybody knew. I'm like, nobody knows what you're talking about except the people that's dancing in your head. You know, I'm thinking you tripping. But at first I was feeding into it because I really thought he was serious. But he was manipulating me and gaslighting me times 100. Which, I'm so angry about that now when I think back on all the stuff I went through with this individual, and he wasn't doing nothing but playing games. The next thing this article says is the gaslighter abuser will be on the offense at all times, which will wear you down. You will feel so low that you will start to doubt yourself. You become discouraged, fearful. You question reality, who you are, and whether you are perceiving things properly. And I would say I experienced all of that in my gaslighting phase. You know, these individuals, like I said, they're pathological liars, and their lies never stop. I could go tell this individual, no, you're wrong. Here is the proof right here. And he'll push that whatever proof I got to the side and still claim that what he said happened. I remember one time he asked me about my children's father, he was murdered, years ago. So I was telling him the story about that. You know, he was so much of a narcissistic person. He told me, no, it didn't happen that way. Now, mind you, I didn't even know this person. He told me, no, it didn't happen that way. It happened this way. And that is how they try to manipulate you, to make you think that, that basically that you have no grip on reality, and whatever they say is the truth, and that's it, and that's all they're going to believe, and that's all they want to hear. They do not care about the truth. They do not. The third one says they will sabotage your friendships and other relationships. And once again, I would use the example that I was speaking on about the gym. Although he tried to sabotage that relationship, it really didn't work. I'm still going to that gym now. I'm back going to the gym now. But at the time, I was still in touch with the people, but I just didn't go to the gym itself. Or the person, rather. But I just didn't go to the gym itself, Number 4 says, making you the enemy or feel bad for having feelings and reactions. These individuals, they don't feel. In the definition, remember I said that they lack empathy for people. So that they don't have any feelings. They don't, if it doesn't, revolve around them, they don't care. So once again, I use myself. So all those times I'm telling you, hey, this is what you did to hurt me. Can you not do that again? It's, oh, what you complaining for? You just picking at me because you want to go out and do this. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm telling you what you're doing to hurt me so you won't do it again. But it's like that individual never grasps that. So I'm thinking this is something that they do as well. So I can really relate to number 4. Your feelings will never be validated. They don't care. Now, in the beginning, when they're love bombing you, they'll make you think your feelings are being validated, but they're really not. Number 5 says constant lying to avoid responsibility. I said it over and over again. These individuals are pathological liars. They will lie about everything. And they never take responsibility. This individual can do something to me, and like I said, I would confront him with it, and he would never take responsibility for it, ever. And it was always my fault. Some kind of way, he would twist it up, and it becomes my fault. And that is number 6. Never being at fault for any issues in the relationship. It's never their fault. It's always, in my relationship, I would say, it was always my fault according to him. But he never wanted to hear what he was doing to me. It was always about what I was allegedly doing to him, which I never did. But, like I said, pathological liars, so that's what they do. And like I said, he turned the blame on me. And they would turn it around and make you the reason why this is happening. And I would use my relationship once again. He would say, oh, yeah, I cheated on you because you cheated on me. What are you saying? I didn't cheat on you. This is a conversation between him and I. What are you saying? I didn't cheat on you. Oh, yes, you did. No, I did not. Why did you say that? Oh, because you didn't go to work. Well, here is my timesheet right here. I did go to work. Oh, no. You rigged that up. You that's not, No, I know the truth. I saw you come out of another door at the job. What are you saying? It's several doors at the job. Does it matter which door I come out of? And before you know it, you arguing over dumb stuff. When the main problem was he was the one cheating anyway, but of course he throwing it back on me. And that's the game that I played with this individual, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And after a while, I just became exhausted. I became depressed. It would cause you to, just as the doctor said, it will cause you to be, I would say for me, it would be depression, anxiety, loss of reality. You start to second guess yourself. But I guess my wake up was one day I looked in the mirror and I didn't even recognize myself. I wasn't doing anything that made Nikki. I wasn't going to the gym, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing any shot. I wasn't doing anything. If I felt like it was going to upset him, I wouldn't do it. So I lost my identity, period. In my sense, it was Nikki no longer existed. I don't know who I was. I was just the wife of that individual, trying to make him happy, which you can't make people like that happy. They're never happy. No matter how much I sacrificed or how much I gave to that person, never happy. Number 8 says a huge sense of entitlement. They have a huge sense of entitlement. You owe them everything. That is so true. I heard that over and over again. How, hey, I helped you do this and I helped you do that, which are lies, which that person did help me do some things, but the big things that you're saying you helped me with, you didn't help me with. I didn't even know you, in the times that I did certain things. But okay, if that's the way you feel, it got to the point where I just started agreeing with whatever he said, even though I know it wasn't reality, and that is wrong. You never agree with somebody that is lying to you and they're lying. But for me, I was just so exhausted. I just started agreeing with, whatever you say, okay, yeah, you did it. I just started agreeing to whatever you say. And that just spiraled out of control as well. Now, I read to you 8 things that a narcissistic person will do in a relationship. Now, if you find yourself, I say with at least half of these, you may be dealing with a narcissistic person. Now, if you experienced all 8, you are. I would clearly say you are with a narcissistic person. And if you're not, you are a very lucky individual. But if you are that person, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with. If you decide to stay in that type of relationship, this is what you're going to have to deal with. And I would say for me, it never got better. It just continued to get worse. Now, once you get entangled with these individuals, and let's just per se, you still in the love bombing phase and you going on through the relationship, but you still experiencing the other 7 items that I read, 7 things that I read. Once you begin to figure out that these individuals are manipulating you and basically playing games with you, and you confront them about it, the next phase for them is called the discard. Now, when you discard something, you get rid of it because it has no more value to you anymore. And that is the thinking of a narcissistic person. You no longer have value to them anymore. You know their games. You know what they're doing. You calling them out on their shit. So now you have no value. So guess what? They're going to get what the doctors call supply. They're going to go find a new supply. And in my case, that individual had multiple supplies. And I used to think when I would, investigate and look at these women that he was cheating with, none of them matched. Most men, they cheat on you. It'd be somebody similar, y'all similar like in a way. But none of these women matched because he didn't care. He just wanted what he wanted from them people. But like I said, I digress. That's a whole nother subject. But anyway, when that person, when you no longer a value to that person, you can't give them what they want. You're not making them the center of your world anymore. They'll begin to discard you. That is, they may start doing something like silent treatment. Oh, my silent treatment days. I was going crazy because you're in the house with these people. They don't say anything. Nothing. I mean, I'm talking, I'm crying. What's wrong? Can you talk to me? Boo, boo. This man had a stone face. Manipulating me just like a puppet. Up, down, up, down, up, down. My emotions are all over the place. That's why I gained all that weight. But anyway, that's another story. But, and when they start the silent treatment, you best believe they got a new supply that they love bombing. They love bombing that new supply while they are getting ready to discard you totally. So while they're gearing up their new supply to the point where they're going to discard you, you're going to get what I like to say, the business. The first thing is the silent treatment. In the silent treatment, you get no affection. You remember they were love bombing you. You were everything to them, blah, blah, no affection. They start spending time away from you. And once again, the blame game come in. Everything is your fault. And before you know it, they have totally destroyed you mentally. And I'm speaking from my standpoint. You second guessing yourself. Like I said, I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror, but I was still trying to, be with this person. But I was waking up in that process. No affection. Can you imagine being with a person for years? You lovey-dovey, you come home from work, they there, or, you're meeting up, you're going out, you're doing things, all of a sudden, nothing. They don't talk to you, they don't touch you, they don't do anything. That will mess with you mentally. And that still bothers me to this day. It bothers me because just even speaking on it, I can go back to those feelings, the way I felt at that time when that was happening to me. But, I mean, you can survive it. I did. It wasn't easy. It was one day at a time, but, I mean, mentally, it will really, really do something to you. And basically, it's just all a big form of abuse. However, once they get the new supply ready and they say, okay, well, I got a new supply now, I'm finna go. And they would just leave. No kind of remorse. You're just left there standing like, what did I do? You know, you think about all the things this person said you were doing that you wasn't doing. You know, that's because they wanted to get rid of you. You had no value to them. You know, you left with this, oh, I need to repair it. I need to fix it. You know, I need to, you know, do whatever you, in your mind, you think I need to repair it, I need to fix it. I love him. I want this to work. That's because you're not knowing he's a narcissistic person. He knows what he's doing. He's leaving that door open so he can come back. And he knows once he decides to come back, that you're going to be adamant about, you know, being that good supply again. And you're not going to want to lose him. In his mind is what he's thinking. But for me, I would say I was in a depression for a long time. I mean, I went straight depression. I didn't do anything. We'll go to work, go home. I didn't do anything. And anybody know me? Know I love hair. I like to get my nails on. I like to go, you know, places, you know, travel, do different things. I didn't do anything for a long time. I even thought about committing suicide. That's just how bad my mind got. But you know what? I said, no. One day I was laying in the bed and I said, you know what? I'm finna figure out why this person act the way that they act. What is causing that? Because it's not me. It's got to be something deeper than that. So once I began to research, that is when I found out about narcissistic people. I mean, I read and I looked and I was healing during the process. So I'm saying that to say, I'm giving you this information just as I found it and it helped me. I'm hoping that it helped you if you're in this type of relationship. Because trust me, you're going to be lost. I know I was lost. Very lost. The next thing I want to talk about is, what do you do if you're involved with that person? You know, and I'm speaking involved like you're currently in a relationship. He hasn't discarded you yet. You're in a relationship and you're like, oh no, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing, you're trying to fight for the relationship. The first thing you got to do is see them for who they really are, not for who you want them to be. So yes, they are this pathological liar. You know, you can't believe anything that comes out of their mouth because they will lie about anything. But you have to see them for who they really are and understand that this type of dysfunction is a mental illness. You know, they're not, I don't know. I don't want to say they're doing it on purpose, but this is all they know, this type of behavior. And unfortunately, from what I read it's really no cure for it. You know, that individual has to want to change. And I just, that's devastating to me. There's no cure for it. Like, you may give them some medicine because sometimes they hype, they have different medicines, but it's really no cure for it, except that person has to want to change. And you think about a person that's been living their life like this 20, 30 years. It may take even longer for them to change, I have digressed into another subject. Let me get back. What to do if you're involved. First thing you got to do is see them for who they truly are. The next thing you got to do is what the doctors call break the spell and stop focusing on them. Take all that attention off them, whether they are treating you good or bad. Take that attention off of them and just put it on yourself. Take that time to, take care of yourself. Like I said, I didn't, because my whole world evolved around that one person. Everything was catered to him. If he didn't want me to do this, I didn't do it. And yeah, I was a damn doormat and a fool at one time, but I woke up. So I'm hoping you wake up too. But I'm just being real. I'm being truthful. Everything revolved around this person. If this person wanted to go XYZ, guess what? Even if I didn't feel like going, guess what? I went, because everything revolved around that person. And I didn't want to hear that person's mouth about me not going, which is crazy, but it's true. But if you break the spell by focusing on yourself, on your goals, your dreams, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you like to do? you go out and you do them things. And keep in mind that you can't fix them. Like I said, they have to want to change on their own. That's in any situation. You cannot make a grown person do nothing that they don't want to do. Please keep that in mind. When the elder person told me that, I didn't understand it until I was overly grown. You can't make a grown person do nothing that they don't want to do. Oh, and the next thing it says, no matter how much you adjust your life, it would never be enough. So you have to take care of number one, which is you. And I can co-sign that no matter what I did, from, dropping friends to, not working overtime to, I even say dumb it down myself. Whatever I did was never enough. Never enough. Then you have to speak up for yourself. That is, don't accept those lies that they're telling you. Speak up for yourself. Set your boundaries. And it's very important. Once you set boundaries in that type of relationship, in your mind, you got to think of the consequence if those boundaries are broken. And you have to stick to it. With those type of people, if you give them an inch, they're going to take 20 miles. So if you set a boundary and say, hey, if you do this again, you know what? I'm going to end this relationship, and he does it again and again, and you don't do anything, guess what? He going to run down the road with you, baby. You're going to be a hot mess like I was at one time. And once again, expect that person to push back. That is, they will try to manipulate you and feeling bad for speaking up for yourself or your feelings. And I experienced all of this. But however, this is confession time, and I must admit that even after we broke up, I went back to that person. Don't ask me why. In my mind, I felt like, okay, let me try again. Why? I don't know. Let me hit myself. I did it. This confession. And I would tell you, once he intertwined with the new Nikki, oh no. He didn't want no parts of her at all. Because I wasn't taking no shit. I wasn't listening to your bullshit. I wasn't taking it, and I wasn't putting up with it. And all your tricks and games, I already know them. You know what I'm saying? I even went, so far as to even, hey, I listened to you. I once again showed you counter what you're saying so that I know, this is the truth in your face. And my thing was this. I'm telling you the truth and you choose to believe a lie, that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? I learned to distance myself. Once he makes an accusation, I give you the truth and tell you the truth, but you continue to believe a lie. I'm not going to stand there and argue with you about something that I know is true. The second time, I didn't lose my truths. No, you're not finna do that. Before, I was second guess. No. Once you know better, you do better. That is that saying. The next thing it says is, just remember it's not your fault. Whatever goes on or transpires in that relationship, I don't know. I'm just saying it's not your fault that that individual is acting in the manner that they're acting. These individuals will never take responsibility for anything that they did to cause you any pain. Because remember, they like to think of themselves as this perfect person and, they don't do anything to mess up anything. They just walking on the earth that's perfect. This individual used to say, oh, I was a good husband to you. I'm like, when? Where he at? Because I don't know when. During the love bombing phase? Yeah, you got me real good. But after that, it was a wrap. And nothing was ever his fault. To this day, nothing is ever his fault. He never admits to anything. And at some point, like I said, they're masters of manipulation. So at some point, you will be attempting to accept the blame just so you can get peace in your house. But that's something you should never do. And once again, I use myself for an example. This individual used to come home every day. Oh, you cheating. Oh, you doing this. Oh, you doing it. I want to know who you cheating with. I mean, it was just compounding every day. It was just too much. Me trying to work. I'm trying to run my business. I got this fool over here in my ear every day and just da-da-da-da-da-da every day. But in the meantime, between time, you got a whole nother 3 other women with keys to their house and going over there, but you coming home to me, just badgering. So one day I said, yeah, I'm cheating. I'm cheating with somebody. He said, oh, let me see. And I just so happened to have my computer up. So I just pointed at anybody. Oh, Lord, what did I do that for? I just wanted some peace. I just wanted him to leave me alone. I thought at that time, I said, well, maybe if I live in his reality, he'll leave me alone. That didn't work. That made it worse. So never do anything just because you want, don't accept the blame for anything. Don't admit that you did something just so he could leave. That person can leave you alone and you thinking you're going to have peace. From my perspective, these people are miserable on the inside. So therefore, they don't even know what peace is. They could pretend they know what peace is. But if you critically think about it, do they really know what peace is? No, because they lived their whole life in chaos. And that's just my perspective. I might be wrong, but that's just my perspective. Once again, you know the truth. So don't let anyone ever take you from your truths. You know your truths. Heck, they know their truths. They're going to force it on you. They're going to force feed you their truth, whether you want them or not. So why, bag down off of your truths? But, that's the game that they play, the manipulation game, to make you second guess reality. So if you're involved with them, you have to stand strong. I mean, you have to be very strong with those boundaries. You have to be very strong with your focusing on yourself, because before you know it, you will be like me, looking in the mirror and don't even recognize yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't recognize anything. So once this person has, I'm going back to the discard phase. So once this person has totally discarded you, like I said, you're no value to them anymore. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you spent so many years revolving yourself around this person? Your whole world was this person. So once your whole world walk out and leave you, what do you do? What's your next step? That's where the depression, that's where all those other things come in. But I would say for me, and I'm going to say what I did for me. Like I said, I got up and I began to wonder why this person was acting like this. So I got educated with a lot of things. Eventually, I began to hang out with my family, friends. I surrounded myself around positive people, that could minister to me in a way that I could keep moving forward. I wasn't stuck on the what else, because you'll find yourself there stuck. Oh, what if I'd have done this? Or what if I? No. Once you decide to move forward, that's what you need to do. Keep moving forward. Some other things that I found was that I thought was important is when do you decide to move on? And I'm going to speak for myself. When you're in that relationship and you're going like on a roller coaster ride in circles, you're like, oh, I can do this, or I'm going to try this with him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. At some point, you're going to get tired. Because no matter the more you do, the more this person seems to chew you up and spit you out. So when are you going to make a decision to take that power back from that person? You got to take your power back. And that was my decision. I said to myself, Nikki, take your power back. Why are you letting him make all the decisions? You got to make a decision for you. And I'm saying that to the person that's in a relationship with someone like that right now. Take your power back. Don't let this individual have all the power. You take your power back. Don't let them be the deciding factor of when they're going to leave you or what they're going to do. No, you make a decision. Now, you have to decide, when is it time to move on? When is it time to get your power back? And I found four things that you kind of help you decide, okay, yeah, it's time for me to move on. When these individuals begin to blame you for everything that's going wrong, I spoke on that. Everything is always your fault. Monitoring your movements. To my listening audience, I would tell you, I was in a living hell. This man wanted to know everywhere I went. And everywhere I say I went, he said I didn't go. It was so bad at one time, he downloaded these apps on our phones where the app was so accurate that I could be at work in the building. He could tell I was on the second floor or the third floor. Wherever I was in the building, he could tell from that app. Now, let me tell you the dysfunction in it besides that. Now, when he wanted to go out and cheat, guess what he did? He turned his app off. And my thing with Buzz, like, okay, this person logged off or whatever. And I'm thinking, what you log off for? But you want me to stay on so you know where I'm at. Monitoring your movements. After a while, it's a control thing. They're manipulating you like a puppet. And that's what he did to me. Riding by the job. Oh, you're not on the second floor. You're on the first. I'm like, what the hell are you saying? That's when I looked at the app and I realized that you could tell which floor, everything. It's crazy. You will drive yourself crazy. Another thing it says, when it's time to move on, that individual is telling you how you should feel. And I would say I experienced that. That person used to try to tell me how to feel. What you mad about that for? That ain't no reason to be mad. What you mad about that for? What you mad for? What you mad for? I'm mad because that's how I feel. That's my feelings. But I didn't know at the time the person don't have empathy, so he don't know nothing about his feelings. He don't have feelings. Not true feelings. And I found a question it asked, do these individuals cry? And I used to see this person, little tears. I'm like, oh, he really care. All that's a game. All that is a game. I wish I could make myself cry. Like, I can't make myself cry. If you see me crying, I'm in my feelings for real. But these individuals, they can even go as far as make themselves cry. Now, that was very scary. And the last thing, they will deny things that are obvious to you. And I will use my timesheet or whatever. I don't even know if people call it timesheet. I'm telling my age now, but shoot. Anyway, I will use that. Oh, a better example. This individual accused someone of coming into our home and taking food out of the house. So this particular day, we went grocery shopping. And I had to go to work. So we went grocery shopping, hurry up, put the food in there. Of course, I went to work. And he went to be with his side piece all day while I was at work. I'm just being real. So at the end of the night, when I come home, he's looking angry in the face or whatever. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Or, so-and-so came in and took the food. I'm like, what food? The food we just bought. I'm like, huh? So I kept the receipt. I mean, it had gotten to the point where I started keeping receipts because I thought I was losing my mind. So I had the receipt in my purse. So I pulled the receipt out. I went through the house. I pulled out everything that was on that receipt. Do you know this fool still said, what are you trying to say? I'm lying? Yeah. And then I tried to have empathy for him. I said, well, you just made a mistake. Me with my dumb self. You just made a mistake. It's okay. This fool stayed mad for about a month or so because he said I called him a liar. And I done pulled out everything from the cabinets to the deep freezer. Everything that was on that receipt was in his face, and he still denied it. Because like I said, they want to believe their own truths. But at the time, I didn't know. I get chills thinking about that. But anyway. So if you find yourself with those things going on in your relationship, blaming you for everything, monitoring your every move, telling you how you should feel, denying things that are obvious to you, it may be time to move on. Or even though you may be experiencing these things, you might not be ready to move on, and that's okay. You move at your pace, what is best for you. But when you do decide to move, I hope that you will take notes so you'll know how to move and move on. Because when the narcissistic person discards you, that's one thing. But when you try to leave them, totally different ball game. So if you're ready to move on, have your support team ready. You might want to have a few police officers. No, let me stop. Have your support team ready and have your exit plan. Now, all my podcasts, when I'm speaking on some type of abuse or some kind of, situation that you may be, in at the time, I always tell people to have your exit plan. Always have a way out, a safe way out. Because just looking at some of these people and saying, hey, I'm finna leave you and think you finna walk out the door, it doesn't always work that way. And I'm just being truthful. It does not. So get you an exit plan in place. I would just say have all your ducks in a row. Have your support team ready. And even after you stop talking to these people, continue to stand your ground. Keep your boundaries. They call it no contact. Don't contact them. Don't do anything. That's when you really begin to take care of yourself. Start to focus back on you. And if you need professional help, that's okay too. Because I had to get help, because I didn't understand what was going on with me. Like, I've never been, this type of person. What is going on with me? I was just manipulated times 100. Don't try it now. You're really going to get the business. Okay, the next thing I found interesting, someone asked, do these people change or can they be healed? Once again, from my understanding and my research is they can only be healed when they're willing to change. The only way these individuals can change is like they want to change. They have to have cognitive change, their thinking patterns have to be changed, basically. Once again, I would say it is a mental condition. Now, I did read where in some instances they were given some types of medicines, but I don't know. I think a lot of these people are already doing some type of drug anyway, so I don't know. But I've read about where they do, administer medicine to them and things of that nature, but I don't know. I personally stand with they have to want to change themselves. And that change is not going to be overnight. So if that individual come to you and say, oh, I'm going to change, don't think that's going to happen overnight. Who knows how long it's going to take for them to change? Because we know just in changing our personal habit, like me, just, I don't know, if it's a habit I want to change, it doesn't happen overnight. And I would use me, just being late to everything. I'm trying to learn to, change is a bad habit. So I'm saying that to say it's going to take time, but long as that person is willing to change, I believe they can change. I've seen several videos where individuals claim to be a past narcissistic person, and then they're now using that knowledge to educate other people like myself on the behavior that they had and what to do, or they even go as to those TikToks, they're very good. I can't think of the guy's name, but I love watching his videos because it's like, was that man in my house? Because that's exactly what happened to me, But so saying that to say these people can change, but they have to want to change. And to the recovering narcissistics out there that may be listening, hey, congratulations. I'm proud of you. Can you help your other fellow narcissistic people come along the way? I hope so. Now, if you find yourself a victim or you've been the victim of a narcissistic relationship, I found 4 things that I did that I felt would be helpful. first thing you have to do is recognize that is a form of abuse. Just because these people may not be physically putting their hands on you, it's other forms of abuse. And that is, mental abuse, emotional abuse. I mean, it like they say, it is what it is. It's abuse. The next thing is you got to take your focus off that person and put it back on yourself. Like I said before, on yourself, your goals, your dreams, what made you happy before you got in this relationship, what's going to make you happy now? Because, as time goes by, we all grow and change. You know what I'm saying? Things that made you happy before, 9 times out of 10 won't make you happy at that time. But hey, do whatever makes you happy. For me, once I took the focus off of that person and put it back on myself, well, as you can see right now, I'm doing podcasts. So I always wanted to do a podcast, but I never did because I was too busy doing things with that person, what he wanted to do. So this is one of the things, this is my healing process. Doing this podcast every week, it's just something I always wanted to do. So I'm doing it. I'm focusing on me. I'm focusing on my business. I'm living my dreams and the things that I wanted to do that, I couldn't do when I was with that person. So you can do it. You just have to put your mind to it. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Because I loved me some him. You couldn't tell me nothing about that man. Ooh, until I almost died from stroke and heart attack and high blood pressure and all that extra for the things he was putting me through. Okay, so once you take the focus off of him and put it back, on that person, I ain't gonna say him, on that person, put it back on yourself, and then you do things that, make you happy. The next thing you got to do is practice self-care. Now, practicing self-care, in one of my episodes, I talked about self-care, not just in the form of, going to the doctor and, exercising and eating right. I'm talking about your mental self-care, emotional self-care, as well as your physical. All of those things are included in self-care. So it's very important that you take care of your mental state at that time. And going forward in your life, period. Learning how to manage your emotions. That is so important. The next thing it says is, healthy boundaries. Once you set those boundaries, you have to stick to them. So if you said you wasn't going to deal with that person anymore, you most definitely cannot deal with that person anymore. Because when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, all they're going to do is love bomb you. Like I said, they're pathological liars. They're good at lying. They're going to apologize. They don't mean it. They're going to do whatever it takes to get you to the point where they feel like they can manipulate you. So, set your boundaries. Once you set those boundaries, if they cross the boundaries, you have to stick to the consequence. Once again, if you don't, you give them an inch, they're going to take 20 miles. And before you know it, you're right back in that well. And I would like to say for me, as you can see, I'm still in the healing process. But it takes time. Like I said, I'm not with that individual anymore. But I did intertwine with him again after I went through all of this rigmarole. But you know what? I was smart at that time, so it didn't last long. So that's going to conclude this podcast. I hope that you take this information, and even if you can't use it, you can pass it on to someone you may know that can use it. Please leave your comments, questions. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. And also I have a webpage. And it is Confessions with Nikki G for the Facebook and Instagram. For my webpage is nikkig.org. And don't forget the E in Nikki. That is going to conclude this podcast. And I'll talk to you again next week.